Animal handling? Check. Welcome to Careful Cantrip. Hello, you beautiful internet you. Welcome back to Careful Cantrip, where a group of individuals, adventurers if you will, do their absolute best to not get lost in dungeons, and most of the time run away from dragons. I am your most humble and gracious DM/host, Dave McGill, aka the Big Fat Universe, and welcome back. If you're going to be joining us today from our last episode, if you didn't happen to catch it, you can go ahead and check us out on YouTube. We will post it all there. So, unless my guru marketing department tells me otherwise, and there's anything else that I need to mention or say. Looking in your direction, Elara. No? All right, fair enough. Well, without further ado, why don't we just hop into tonight's session? It'll work. I promise it'll work.
Ooh, this sounds mischievous.
Yeah. We jumped into a Disney movie.
I can't even hear anything. That's the worst part.
What?
Sounds like Home Alone.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's not fun. Okay, let's hit the stop button and try that again. There we go. Ooh. There's the whimsical music that I wanted. Okay. Amazing. So, when we last left our heroes, making the voyage by sea to the lands of Qatar, our adventurers began to meet each other through the subtle assistance of the ship's first mate, Schmeltzy. Some meeting through casual conversations, while others by way of card games. And lastly, a pair met through somewhat successful cargo room heist. They were all then called to the ship's main deck to hear the captain's docking speech. He explained that the port city they would be arriving in was the main large southern coastal city of Trallis, and advised that they should remain in the city as the outer wilds proved to be dangerous and even lethal at times. However, the speech was cut short as a massive tentacle erupted from the water, throwing one crew member over the bow. A short battle commenced against a giant sea creature that seemed dead set on bringing the ship to a watery grave. While our heroes fought valiantly, they and the crew were no match for the beast, as the tentacles laid waste to the wooden vessel, casting our adventurers into the ocean depths. Awaking a short time later, they found themselves tied to some palm trees on a beach. Not far were three pirate captors rummaging through their washed-up remains of the ship. With a bit of cunning magic by Alcor, the party was easily able to escape, only to find themselves face to face with these aggressive pirates. Whence from the forest, 3 arrows with strange, smooth black stones embedded into the arrowheads were volleyed towards the pirates, killing each with a single strike. Pavo then attempted to find the source of these arrows to no avail, as whomever shot the arrows had disappeared into the forest. They then heard a voice coming from a wagon brought to the beach by the pirates with a carriage cage affixed to the back of the wagon. There they rescued a man named Thomas, to which he was quite grateful and prompted the party to leave quickly as more pirates would surely arrive soon. Leading the party to a survivor's cove, the party made their way through the thicket of forest, only to be attacked by 3 thorny beasts. Through intimidation tactics, as well as some well-placed strikes, the Thornies were dispatched, giving them free passage to a small cave entrance hidden behind a drapery of vines. As the party continued to make their way through this short passage within the cave face, it didn't take long for them to emerge on the other side, and what they saw was actually quite remarkable. In any other circumstance, the cove is just short of a paradise scene. It's a small area of white sand beaches that segregate from the rest of the coastline by 2 towering cliff faces. The walls of the cliff faces are covered in patches of dark moss and thick flowered vines that hang on stone overhangs at the top of the cliff. As you emerge from the cave, you take notice to a small encampment of makeshift tents and huts. Most of the huts had been cobbled together using bits and pieces of ships that had fallen from the large sea beast as well. Most follow the same general constructive design, with bows of ships being used as the major structural pieces and the roof, giving a bit of a strange illusion of ships of various sizes ready to burst out of the ground. The tents also seem made of these patched sails resting on ship masts, following the same structural integrity as the rest of the huts. Thomas points towards the largest building closest to the water's edge.
First things first, we want you to get introduced to Shepard. He's more or less runs this place. He'll want to meet you before we can get you all set up in the Cove. Well, if that is you plan on staying here or not.
Where is this Shepard?
He points casually over to a bit larger hut and says,
This is where we take care of all of our meetings, and this is Shepard's home. I'd be happy to take you there.
What's he like?
He is a man of integrity. He is a man of intelligence. He's been here the longest out of all of us. I believe he said 3 years, 5 years. I can't remember.
Do you know how he ended up here?
I'm assuming his story is the same as the rest of ours. Taking a ship from some place, whether it be another part of Qatar, maybe another continent altogether, we were all attacked by some type of strange sea beast that downed our ships, and we ended up on the shores here.
Do you guys have any plans to leave?
Well, unfortunately, a few have tried, but it's next to impossible. This sea creature seems to be guarding the entire island and refuses to let anybody leave except the black sails of the pirate ship.
Well, that's a pain.
It is an inconvenience, to say the least. Shall we make our way to Shepard then?
Yes.
Yes.
Here for.
Yeah.
He begins to lead the way through some of the streets, or cobbled together streets, that separate all of these strange huts and tent areas. A few people kind of lean out onto the porch, some wave to Thomas, others giving a bit of a suspicious eye to all the newcomers that seem to be joining Thomas this time. Eventually you make your way to the front porch of a relatively small, a relatively large, let's just adjust that a little bit, shall we? A relatively large hut. As you enter into the establishment, you see more or less the same type of makeshift furnishings. Some broken down crates that have been made for tables. A few planks that seem to have been put together to make benches and seating arrangements. In the center of the room, a large table with a man to his back to you is frivolously looking over some documentation or some maps. You're not sure. Thomas speaks up.
Shepard, are you free? Are you available to speak?
The man then spins around. You take notice of the individual. He has quite a slender, athletic physique. Quite tall, probably just around 6 feet. He's got a square jawline, sporting a short, trimmed beard. He wears a formal white tunic, now stained from time spent with the dirt and grime of the island. The neckline is a V that seems to be laced with string, as well as the shoulders down to the wrists. Over top the shirt is a brown suede vest showing Shepard was a man of wealth. his dark brown trousers made of a fine woven cloth. His eyes kind of glow as he sees Thomas enter into the establishment. My friend, I'm so glad to see you again. It's been too long, if not too short of time. We were about to send out another search party to look for you, but clearly your new companions were able to do our job for us this time, so to speak. He looks to all of you. You have my many thanks.
I will do a big curtsy.
Oh, well, yes. All right, then. If we're going to be formal, and he gives kind of a slight bow and says, and what is your name, miss?
Oh, I'm Elara. Nice to meet you.
A pleasure to meet you, Elara. Are these your companions? Are you the leader of this fine group?
Oh God, I don't know about that. We just met. We've been through some rough times together, although, but we survived the shipwreck, and we met your friend Thomas along the way, and yeah, I think we will be friends though. And I'll look over at Trix, and I'll give her a little wink.
Trix, you
Hey
hear...
man, I'm Trix. Reach out my hand to shake his hand.
He reaches over and grasps your hand. Very kind to meet you, Trix. I've never come across a satyr in these parts. It is a bit of a pleasure and an honor, if you will.
Hello, my name is Oliver Sprocket, but you
Oh.
can call me Ollie.
That's a man made of metal. Is this an armor, or what exactly am I looking at here?
Oh, this is 100% me. Pleased to meet you.
Well, as a man of medicine, I'm not sure what to think, but very nice to meet you as well. I'm sure that our local tinkerer will have many questions for you.
I'd be happy to meet Mr. Tinker.
Almarak, his name is Almarak, in case you do run across him.
Almerac Tinkerer.
Sure, why not?
I'll reach out my hand and I'll just say, "Hi, I'm Eli. Nice to meet you."
He kind of bends down a little bit to meet your eye line. A very pleasant day to you as well, Eli.
And I nod.
I'll just elbow Alcor and say, Alcor, don't be rude.
I step up and I say, "Good day, my name is Alcor.
Alcor,
Nice to meet you."
a pleasure to meet you as well, sir. And thank you once again for helping our good friend Thomas. He kind of looks
bow.
over.
Say, nice to meet you. My name is Pavo. Thank you for inviting us into your home.
Pavo, what an interesting name. It is a pleasure to meet you as well. All are welcome in Survivor's Cove.
We were told that you have been here the longest of all of your companions, and that you might be able to fill us in on the true scope of our situation.
Yes, of course, I would be happy to tell you the tale. But before we begin that, Thomas, and he looks over to Thomas, you look a little unwell, my friend, a little beaten and worn, if you will. Perhaps you might want to go see Granny May to see if she can help with some of the wounds that you've sustained. Thomas looks back and says, well, if there's nothing else I can do here, I can head over to Granny's. And Shepard looks to him and says, yes, I believe I can handle it from here, Thomas. Thank you once again. And it is so good to have you back once again. Thomas kind of nods. As he passes, he mouths to all of you, thank you once again. Thank you. As he walks out the front door.
Bye.
I wave bye.
Shepard motions towards the table and some of the makeshift seating and says, please, sit. He then walks over to an area that looks like a small makeshift furnace or oven stove. that he has a pot of tea or a kettle sitting on. He puts the kettle on top of the makeshift furnace and says, "We don't have much here, but we do have plenty of tea. I hope you don't mind."
Tea sounds good.
I'll take some tea.
That sounds good. Yes.
Very well then. He walks back over to the table and sits himself at the head of the table. "You see, my friends, we all have a very similar story to tell. Ours, I believe, was the first, but unfortunately not the last. From what we know, there is some type of creature or a beast that surrounds this island. Whenever any kind of ship gets into the vicinity of the island, it seems to be attacked by this large sea creature. At the end, if there's any survivors that happen to make themselves to the shore, typically they won't last long, as a group of pirates seem to be kidnapping them. We're not sure exactly what happens to them, but we have a pretty good idea of where they take them. Unfortunately, we've lost a few of our members to these pirates as well. We're not sure what exactly happens to them, but we have yet to see one come back."
What's your theory?
My theory? Well, some believe that there is a faith or a cult that has taken over the island, but I highly doubt that pirates are people of faith. No. I believe that it is the age-old tale of bought and sold into slavery.
What do they need all these slaves for?
What does any pirate need anything for? Money.
Touche.
Pirates seem like mean people.
Generally, they're not the nicest of individuals, no.
Do you think there might be something for them to acquire on this island? Anything of worth?
Short of whatever comes in on the shipwrecked ships, I don't believe there's anything. We haven't found of anything of true value here, as far as we know, and we've skirmished most of the island. There seems to be just their city, or their little port, their makeshift town, if you will, and just forests.
And how have you been able to stay hidden this entire time?
Well, we try to keep a hush on things. Luckily, our cove has not been found thanks to the cliff faces that surround us.
You don't know where they're keeping these slaves, do you?
Well, as I said, our best assumption would be the small town that they've created. More of a shanty village, if you will, that they use for docking of their large ship. That seems to be the only ship that is capable of sailing the waters without feeling the wrath of the beast itself.
It sounds to me like we should go talk to these douchebags.
I don't know how that's gonna go.
Pretty well. When I talk to people, it usually goes really well.
From the information we've been provided, I don't think they're the talking type.
Yeah.
Has there been a crew of equipped mercenaries or soldiers that have attempted to take on these pirates?
We do have a few scouts that we use. They follow our, I guess you could call her our unofficial general, Sky Austin. She looks after all the scouting parties. We've had a few when we initially started to make their way over to this town to see if that the pirates could be reasoned with. We never saw them again.
What about Blackstone?
Blackstone. I'm not familiar with a Blackstone.
You haven't heard the name? The
Black Racer? The pirate's boat?
No, the arrow with the black stone in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
The guy who is attacking the pirate, but you don't.
I've
You don't
never.
seem to know who he's.
I've heard
the name Blackstone in passing, but I never thought that it was an actual person. We've seen some indication through various weapons or tools that seem to have an embedded Blackstone within them. Why do you ask?
Well, it seems like there were a couple of pirates when we escaped, and they've been shot by an arrow which had a black stone encased in its head. So there must be somebody else on that island fighting the pirates. Just wondering if you knew any other tribes or people or...
Well, as far as we know, there have been a few other survivor encampments that have shot up here and there throughout the years, but as far as I am aware, we are the only ones that have lasted as long as we have. It's interesting that you say that this Blackstone has taken more of an active approach. As I had said, we've found tools and weapons laying about with these black stones embedded within them, but never heard of an instance where he was an aggressor in any way. Perhaps this could be a sign of good fortune for all of us.
And you are sure that no one had arrived before you?
Was there anyone on the island before anybody came?
As far as I'm concerned, there's no ruins, no other structures that we can see. It's not a very large island from what we've been able to survey so far. Only a few miles in diameter.
Those tools and weapons that you found, are they all centered around a certain area, or do you just kind of find them scattered all over the place?
Now, mind you, there hasn't been a lot. Really a few artifacts here and there that we've come across, but there doesn't seem to be any generalized location to it. We just happen upon them at some points, and lo and behold, there seems to be black stones in them sometimes.
But they're scattered, they're not like in a concentrated area, you're finding them all over the place?
Yes, that's generally how we find these.
Okay. Does anyone else know a little bit more about them? Who we could talk to? They sound like they could be allies.
You may want to speak with Sky herself. She might have some information for you. She should be back shortly. She's out on a scouting mission as we speak. The only other person I could think of would possibly be Raynor, but I'm not sure if you'll get much information out of him. He doesn't take kindly to most people. He's not an evil man or bad by any sense. He's just very individualistic. He's helped our little tribe now and again. He stays with us. You should be able to find him in and around the huts. He might be able to tell you a thing or two about Blackstone.
How will we know him?
Oh, you'll know Raynor. You'll definitely know Raynor. And if you don't find him, he will surely find you.
He sounds fun.
I would use the word eccentric. Maybe
I like that.
slightly annoying, but his heart is generally in a good place.
Okay, that's all that really matters.
Go with that.
As he finishes telling you about Raynor, the kettle on the stove has started to smoke and screech. He gets up and grabs the kettle, bringing a few cups over to you all, and begins to pour some tea. I'm interested to hear all of your stories as well. Perhaps you could enlighten me a little bit and possibly tell me of your experience so far. I'm sorry, did I say something funny?
Just the word experience.
Oh.
Just talking for myself, I basically just left the continent where I was born in quest of adventure, and decided to come to Qatar. And seems like it, I haven't made the trip all the way yet.
What about me? You left me out of that whole thing.
Yeah, I'm talking about my experience. I don't want to talk for you. You have your own voice. I don't need to tell people what you do.
Okay.
But I'm traveling with Elara. We're coming from the same continent.
Thank you.
But she will tell you more about why she's coming. Won't you, Elara?
I guess. Well, I mean, I'm looking for some specific stuff in Qatar, but we didn't quite make it there. Obviously, we're here. I study magic, particularly time magic, and I have been searching for some secrets. And Alcor sort of inspired me to come with him. So he thinks that we also might find some stuff there that he'd be interested in. But we're stuck here now. And now there's slaves. We need to free them because that's not cool. So we got to go help those guys out.
You mentioned you were looking for something. Is there a particular thing or possibly someone?
No, more like knowledge to achieve a certain goal. You know, you get that. You seem like a learned man.
I'd like to think so sometimes, but thinking you know too much is usually a sign of stupidity, is it not?
Agreed.
True. But knowledge is also power. So I need to find all the power I can.
Oh. Some would say that it's not the knowledge itself, but how you use it.
Sure. I guess we'll find out how I use it. Because I'm going to find it.
Well, I wish you all the best in your travels if we can all find a way to get off here.
Oh, we will. Don't worry. Don't worry about this. We'll figure it out.
I myself was a man of medicine before all of this. I had a small practice that garnered some attention from a duke in the continent of Arel, a place called Randall. If any of you have ever heard of it before, I'm not sure. I came to this island, this continent, or what I thought would be this continent, to find some additional herbs and possible remedies that the tribesmen used. Unfortunately, I didn't make it there, and my quest here hasn't brought a lot of discovery for me.
I too am a healer of sorts, a cleric. Been searching for new ways to heal, new healing magics, new potions, just all around to become a better healer myself. I heard that guitar has a bunch of knowledge that I can seek out, and that is why I have been setting out towards Qatar.
A scholar like myself, I would be happy to trade some notes with you, perhaps, another time.
That sounds great.
Well then, he kind of looks around the table and takes notice of Alcor and Trix's armor and notices, is there a reason why you carry your armor as opposed to wear it like the rest of them?
Well, may have fallen apart at some point during our hectic journey onto this island. So we're just finding a way to mend it, hoping that would be the case so I can still be usable, or else we're going to have to find some more.
I would point yourselves in the direction of Almarek. He is our town tinkerer, as I had mentioned before. I'm sure he'd be able to fix it. He is the one who more or less built this entire village around you.
Oh, well, that would be excellent, yeah. We'll have to go talk to him later.
I'm a little interested in going to see Granny May the healer because I sustained some injuries, and then I want to give a dirty look to Alcor.
I did not hurt you.
And then I'm going to sip my tea like loudly and obnoxiously.
I believe I did an adequate job mending you.
He gave you so many hit points.
I would like to try and sip my tea even louder.
All right, we're going to do this. Go ahead and make a performance check for me.
Somebody is going to speed tea. An idea what it is going to be.
Oh no! What's wrong with me?
I rolled a 4. You beat me.
So we had a 4 and a 5.
Yes, we did.
Okay, so there's an awkward silence as you hear back and forth. Just seemingly to get louder and louder and louder until at one point where Eli sips a little too hard, ends up coughing, spilling his tea all over the table.
I just kind of nod at Alcor, like, yeah, got this.
Well done.
Shepard kind of looks at the two of you like, okay.
Yep.
Well.
And I look at Shepard, I'm like, yep.
Yes, well, it is strange times for all of us. We all handle it in our own ways.
Handle.
I'm just trying to figure out how to get my beak around the cup. Like sticking my tongue out, trying to get some tea out.
I just grab Pavo since he can't drink it anyway, and I just chug his.
What?
Yeah.
That's rude.
Well,
Hey, if you can find a way to get it down.
I was sticking my tongue in it. I was doing just fine, thank you.
You can have mine.
Wow.
Thank you.
perhaps you will all get along with Raynor more than I had thought.
When you said eccentric, I was afraid that would come to that. It would fit right in.
Well, the Granny Maze, you will most likely find her little hut. There is a few potted plants out front that she used for medicinal herbs. And if you are looking for Almarak, then you'll easily be able to find him with the makeshift furnace sticking out the back of his hut.
Okay.
Thank you very
Otherwise,
much.
we have a few tents that are vacant at this point, closer to the edge of the cliff sides. I'm sure you noticed some of them when you were coming in. You're welcome to find any that are vacant and stay as long as you'd like. Our only rule here is that you contribute just as anyone else would. Money doesn't work very much here, so prepare to put a bit of work in.
Kind of work.
Collecting items, potentially going out and scouting. Anything you can do to lend a hand is much appreciated around here.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yes,
Okay.
well, if you'd excuse me, I have some work that I must tend back
Oh,
to.
wait.
Yes,
Do you want a candy?
but I absolutely, I would love a candy. I haven't had candy in close to 3 years.
I will take out a candy from my pouch and hand it over to him and say, "Here."
He takes it into his hand and kind of looks it over. What kind of candy is it?
It's small and bright pink. hard on the outside, chewy on the inside, sweet but a little bit sour.
Okay, out of game. Where did you find these candies in like medieval fantasy times?
We didn't agree on
Jesus.
this.
Is that like a Harry Potter kind of candy? When he bites in it, he doesn't know what it tastes like? There's like a random table
30
when he
bots.
bites in it?
30 bots, yeah.
He kind of looks it
Little
over.
saltwater taste to it.
He kind of looks it over for a minute and kind of says, "Reminds me of my childhood," and pops it into his mouth.
And
Nice.
His
Scene.
his
oh, I would never do that.
his face turns from one of enjoyment to kind of sweet and tart, kind of puckering his lips a little bit, like he had just bitten into a lemon or something along those lines, and says,
much sweeter than I remember, but thank you all the same.
You're very welcome, and I will do a curtsy again.
Oh, we're doing this again. Okay. And he kind of bows.
Okay.
It was a pleasure meeting all of you. I'm sure we'll have much to discuss as we go forward. And of course, Ollie, if you'd ever like to compare notes of the medical variety, I'd be happy to do that with you.
That would be splendid.
So feel free to come by any time after the sun goes down. That's typically when I try and stop working.
What time is it right now?
Yeah,
Minnesota
I was going to ask what
character.
time is.
So
I
right,
need a long rest.
yeah, right now it's probably getting close to evening. The sun is probably about an hour and a half from setting.
Well, should we go see Elmeric?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you don't all have to come, but I'm gonna see if maybe he can help with my armor.
Same with me. I'll
Yeah.
come with you.
Let's go.
All
right.
right.
I'll
So-
tag along because I have nothing else to do.
I mean, as we're walking, is there like any kids here, or is it only adults?
From what you can see, it's not a very populated village. There's just the odd person here or there that you occasionally see. Doesn't seem to be any children.
And how many people does it seem to be? Like 20, 50, less?
You might see maybe one, possibly two, on your way down the streets. There's most likely 20 max at any given time, and that's probably pushing it.
Okay.
There were more, but they ran out of children to eat.
Yeah, do they seem starved, or do they have enough food, or?
I guess you'll have to find out.
All right.
Okay.
All right, so where are we off to first?
I think we're going to the Tinkerer.
Tinkerer. Okay.
I'm right.
Yeah.
So you walk around the streets or the huts for a very short time. It's not a very large place. It's hard to not spot anything out of the ordinary, and you do come across a hut which looks like it has a clay makeshift forge built in the back. There seems to be plumes of smoke that are billowing out the chimney of this makeshift forge.
There seem to be anybody there?
There seems to be some sail as drapery on the front door, but actually make a perception check for me there, Eli.
Okay, I have to re-roll that. That is going to be a 13.
13. So as you get closer to the to the front door or drapery, if you will, you can hear what sound like two male voices coming from inside. They seem to be bickering a little bit, not yelling per se, but kind of having a friendly debate, if you will.
And
Can
they're
you hear
in.
what they're saying?
Yeah.
From where you are right now, they're not loud enough. Again, they're not shouting at each other. You can't really tell what they're talking about.
And we can all hear?
I would say that you were the only one who is actively listening for it, so probably you're the only one at this point who can hear it.
Okay, I'll give the information to the group
Okay.
that there's people inside. What do we want to do? There's no door that we can like knock on, right? You said it's like a sail?
Yeah, it's like a tarp that you kind of part back in order to enter. It's like those
We can
beads
knock
that
on,
go
like,
on the
the
doors.
frame.
Just go in.
Just walk in.
Yeah,
That's what wavy doors are for, to walk through.
Ladies
I would,
first.
I would knock on the
Alright.
frame.
I'll walk right through. Hello.
Walking into the tent, you are met with, first off, a very, very large, burly, looks to be orc or half-orc. He's a massive man, hulking, bulging, kind of your typical strong man with lots of meat on his bones. You'd think him overweight, if not for the fact that every move that he makes just shows another rippling of muscles. He's got small tusk-like teeth protruding from his lower lip that just rest gently against the top of his top lip. He has a thin chin strap of hair that outlines the jawline with thick black eyebrows and a long ponytail tied back. He also seems to be wearing very small glasses, goggles, with brown leather straps on it, kind of with a darkened glass lens that are resting kind of gently on his forehead. Completely shirtless with a hide apron around his waist that seems like the straps are just kind of makeshift put together from old leather belts. And lastly, he wears thick leather gloves, very similar to what that of a blacksmith wears. The other individual that you see is... he looks elven, but his skin is a bit gray than what you've seen with usual elves. Typically, elves have very colorful cheekbones and very, very saturated skin, kind of larger than life in color, where this one is a little bit paler, a little bit more gray. He's relatively tall, not as bulky as the other individual, but a little bit wider than Shepherd was. He's got white hair that is also kind of tied back a little bit. However, his seems to be in a bit of a warrior or Viking's braid. He is wearing a what looks to be black leather cloak, as well as an undershirt and pant legs. The two seem to be kind of bickering back and forth at one another, but the orc stops as he sees you all walk in.
It would seem we have new rivals. Greetings, newcomers. I am Almarak. Is there something I can do for you?
Hello, I am Ollie Sprocket. Nice to meet you.
His eyes just kind of light up and says,
A warforged? That is not something that I thought I would see here. Well, very welcome, my friend. Welcome to my shop. You are welcome to tinker as much as you like as well. We try not to charge anything here because none of us have any more money.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, actually, we're looking to see if we can get some of this armor fixed. Would you be able to help us out?
Oh, if you bring it forward, then let me see.
All right, pass it over.
I follow Trix and give mine too.
as you put your armors up on the table, the grayish elf or steel-like skinned elf throws his hand on top of the table that kind of cuts off in between where Almarek's hands are and where your armor starts. It says, "Now, listen here, Tinkerer. You and I had an agreement. You were going to fix my bow today. How am I supposed to go out with Sky and do our patrols if you're not going to go ahead and fix my bow? Besides, I was here first. Only counts." And I'm sure, and he kind of points at Trix's jewels on top of her horns and says, "I'm sure Sparkles here can wait a few days. Not a big deal."
Yeah, that's fine. We're not in a hurry. Get your bow fixed there.
Almarak kind of pushes the individual's hand to the side and says, "Raynor, we have new guests here. There's no reason to be rude. I can perhaps fix it all at the same time, yes?" Raynor kind of looks him up and down and says, "Yeah, well,
The faster you get mine done, the faster then I can get the hell out of this place. Well, I can't get my... He kind of looks over at you all and says, what the hell are all you supposed to be anyway?
Just
Stranded.
the coolest people you'll ever meet.
What are you,
Wait,
some
get
kind
out of this place. You have a way to get out of this place?
I meant here, out of this hut.
Oh.
Not,
Oh.
not the brightest one, are we, Sparkles?
Hey! She's my friend. You don't get to talk to her like that.
May I ask, how did you destroy your bow?
Well, it was quite an adventure. I was wrestling some of probably the largest wildcats you've ever seen before, and Almerac kind of gives a huge eye roll as he says all of this. Says, yeah, had to take him on with my bare hands afterward because my bow broke. They snapped it right in half. And Almerac looks down at him and says, largest wildcats you've ever seen? You mean the cubs that are with Granny as we speak right now? You mean those ones that broke your bow as you were playing with them? Is that what you were talking about? Raynor looks up at him and says, no, that's not how the story goes at all. And besides, we don't have time for any of this. We obviously all have equipment that needs to be fixed there, Almerac. Maybe you can step to it there, Tinkerer.
So neither of you would know anything about arrows with black stones in them.
They kind of both look at each other for a second, and Almerac kind of says, well, we have a few tools with the black stones embedded within them. Would you like to borrow them? They're right over here. I'd be happy to share them with you. Raynor speaks up and says, don't go ahead and give away all of our stuff right now. We don't even know who these people are. Blackstone, yeah. No, I know about Blackstone. What do you need to know about Blackstone?
We want to
I
know
was-
who made them.
Yes.
Well,
Who's shooting arrows with them?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the best guess, as far as I'm concerned, it's got to be the pirates. I mean, the pirates have the black sails. They probably have the black stone weapons. They're the only other damn people on this island. It's pretty straightforward. Yeah, it's the pirates. Pirates, Blackstone. There you go. Case settled.
What about no?
Well, whoever-
No. What about you,
whoever this ex-
Raynor? You've got a bow there. Were you shooting recently?
How was I shooting recently? I just told you my bow's been broken for days.
Well,
I
we
don't
are
know,
looking
you
for
were
an
talking
exceptional
about-
archer.
How many
Yeah.
days does it take to fix a bow?
Yeah.
How broken is your bow, basically?
Well, it's not necessarily that my bow is broken. It's just a matter of making sure that the tinkerer goes ahead and fixes it. But apparently there's a lineup because people don't know how to take care of their stuff properly.
Including you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Those were
Damn
some
right.
vicious
I like the
big
little one.
bears. Jackers.
What's your name, Shorty?
my name's Eli.
Short is better.
I wanted to give a high five
As
to
well.
Eli, but that doesn't work.
Why would the pirates be shooting at themselves? When we arrived on the beach, the pirates started attacking us, and somebody else shot those arrows with black stones at the pirates, which is why we're so interested in who made them.
Shorty, let me ask you something. Do you happen to see a deck of cards on me anywhere?
I don't.
No? Do you see a crystal ball anywhere on my person right now?
I would like to actually search him for the items.
Why do you asked for it, man?
Yeah.
That's a weirdo here.
Go ahead and make an acrobatics check for me, please. Or actually, no, make a sleight of hand check for me.
Okay.
While she's doing that, can I take my deck of cards and hand it to her so she can pretend like she found it?
I genuinely am actually trying to figure out if he has these items on him.
Well, I don't know that.
But okay.
So, okay, you want to try and pass the deck of cards, and you're trying to do this inconspicuously?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and make a sleight of hand check for me as well.
We do know how to make friends.
13.
13. And what did you roll for your sleight of hand?
17.
17. All right. So as you kind of walk over, you feel something kind of poking at your wrist for a second, and you kind of glance over to see Trix kind of giving you a smile and a wink. Kind of grabbing towards it, you feel what seemed to be kind of a thick parchment, full deck of cards, very similar to the ones that you guys played with on the ship, kind of gets slipped into your hands. As you make your way over to Rayner, and he's having a conversation with Eli, he looks over and sees you approach just out of the corner of his eye, and as your hand reaches forward, he kind of grabs your wrist, spinning you around, kind of grappling you from the back, almost in a very kind of half romantic, half kind of subdued way, and kind of rustles right next to your ear and says, now, darling, we'll play as much as you want later, but right now we got business to take care of, all right?
I would like to pull the deck of cards out and say, but you have cards, I found them.
He immediately lets you go and says, yeah, she's not one of the bright ones. What I was
Other
trying...
character, that's why they call her Magic Trix.
Out of game, who calls her Magic Trix?
Well,
Rayner then lets you go, and he says, it was a figure of speech. I was trying to allude to the point that I'm not a fortune teller in any way, and I have no idea what the prerogative of these pirates might be other than to kill and maim all the rest of us.
Oh, so you're just being rude. Okay.
Except I just said they weren't pirates that were shooting at us. So for all that sauce, not so much with the listening.
Well, it's hard to hear from all the way down there.
Oh my god, a short joke! Never heard any of those before.
Well, you'll get plenty out of me, Shorty. Back to the moment at hand, and he kind of leans back and slams his hand down on the counter and says, now, Almerac, what do we got to do to get these items fixed? Mine being priority, of course. Almerac says, give me but a moment. I will look into this all for you. And he kind of begins to inspect, pulling down the goggles, kind of looking at all of the items, checking the latch that seems to be broken on one of your armors, the split down the middle in one of the other one. He says, yes, I can fix this for you. One problem, though. There is a, how you say... sticky substance. What do you say? And Rayner looks at him and says, glue? Are you talking about glue? Yes, the glue. We are out of the rubber glue. I will need more in order to fix all of your items. Not hard to find. You can find it on the island.
Okay.
Perhaps.
So
Point
you
us
want
in the right
to go get
direction, and we
glue.
will get this glue for you.
Very well, then. We have deal. You get my glue. I fix your armor for you. Yes?
Yes.
Reasonable man.
Sounds good.
Rayner says, well, now, I don't need you go screwing this all up for me. I need my bow back, so I'll take you to the glue trees.
Oh, we have glue trees.
blue trees.
They're not made out of glue. It's more the sap than it. I don't know why I bother. I tell you what. Says, he looks over and says, well, it's pretty much nighttime almost. You guys want to head out now, or do you want to wait till morning?
I'll wait till morning.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
Oh, all right then. Well, if there's nothing else, I'll be on my way. I'll meet you back here first thing tomorrow morning.
I have a question.
Well, if you want to come join me in my tent, you're more than welcome, sweetheart.
Wow. Wow. I don't need. Okay. No, I'm good. I was just, I was gonna try and bond with you a little bit, but you're just moving too fast for me.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I'm great at bonding. If that is your preference, that is.
That is
You are
not
very
my
generous.
preference. Ollie,
Well,
he's all yours.
Thank you, Tin Man. I appreciate that very much. Don't really swing that way, but, I'm sure there's plenty out there who do.
While this is
What do you
happening,
mean by
can I
swing?
pretend to drop something and tie his shoelaces together?
You absolutely can. Go ahead and
Do that.
first
I'll let
make
you do that.
first make a stealth check for me, please.
Okay. That is going to be a 22.
22. Without, he seems to be very, very engaged with Elara at this point in time, that he doesn't notice you doing anything whatsoever.
I bet.
All right. Next, I need you to
Just
go
wanna
ahead
watch.
and make a sleight of hand check for me, please.
Okay. Oh my god, please. Ah, crap. Not as good. But a 9.
9. Okay. So you do your best to tie the shoes together. Surprisingly, his boots have laces. You do your absolute best not to get noticed, but think you've done a pretty thorough job in terms of tying these shoelaces together.
Cool.
He says, "Well, now if there's nothing else at all that we need to discuss, Almarak, is there anything else you need to tell us about any of this?" He says, "Yes, the glue trees. You will want to find the trees with the orange leaves. Can you remember that?"
Duly
I've
noted.
Stuck it in my memory.
Yes, you have brain in there, yes?
Yes, I do.
How fascinating. I wonder what is brain in Tin Man head. As all of this happens, Raynor says, "I don't have time for any of this," and he takes the deck of cards that somehow he was able to slip out of Alara's hand when he has reached out of it, and tosses them up into the air and says, "This is what I think of all your nonsense," and casually walks out the door.
Damn it.
Well, that was rude.
Okay.
Eli, as you do, you kind of slam down and begin to turn and make your way, only to find that you fall over as your shoelaces have somehow been tied.
Oh, I told my
Raynor turns back around and is leaving and gives a slight wink towards, and he says, "Better luck next time, Shorty."
Oh, did he tie your shoes?
That, or somehow I tied my own shoes.
How would
know.
he know?
Yeah, exactly. I guess he tied my shoes. What a bugger.
I don't like him at all. He's not eccentric. He's rude.
Oh,
Gross.
Raynor is how you say will grow on you, like moss or infection.
Fungi.
Oh,
Yes,
infection.
yes.
He seemed kind to me. He offered you accommodations.
Mhm.
He
That's
barely
true.
knows you.
Oh, that's nice. But he did throw the deck of cards all over the floor, and I hate playing this stupid game. 62 pickup.
52.
Wow.
73 pickup.
No,
I'll
How
start-
many
Elara,
cards you have
I'll
there?
start picking up the cards.
Elara, you love
don't-
playing games. You just don't like to be played. That's the only thing.
Of course not.
All right. A short while later, all the cards have been picked up. What would you all like to do?
Go to bed. Can I scurry ahead and find the biggest tent?
Yeah, you absolutely can. Go ahead and make an investigation check for me.
Okay.
Or no, make a perception check for me.
Okay, 12.
12. So scurrying ahead of the rest of the group, you see what you believe to be the largest tent, which is not very much larger than any of the others, but
Oh.
you got a couple inches on it.
For you, it's a big tent.
Walking over, you seem to there seems to be about 3 tents that are unoccupied at this point.
Now we're in a cave, correct?
No. You're in a cove.
Cove?
Yeah. The cave was just the passage from the outside kind of forest area into this little secluded cove that seems to be kind of walled off by way of cliff faces that keep the Survivor's Cove hidden.
Are there trees in here?
Closer to the back of the front of the cove basically rests almost right on the water, where the back of the cove is where the cave entrance is, and kind of is a more or less a horseshoe type kind of layout, if you will. Closer to the back by the caves and the cliff faces, there are a few small palm trees there.
Palm trees? Damn.
Okay.
Looking for a tree that I could perch on.
There's probably one that's large enough that might be able to, I guess, allow you to roost for the night. Is that what you do? I don't know.
Yep.
You roost.
As long as it
Okay.
can support me, I can settle in and just kind of snuggle there. I don't particularly care to sleep indoors.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll
And I
just
can also keep an
snuggle.
eye out and kind of watch around at a higher perch area as well too.
Okay.
Bye, Pavo.
I mean, the palm trees are probably about maybe 40 feet away from you. So as you wave goodbye, he kind of looks back and immediately gets up onto the tree and just kind of looks down at you from the tree and just kind of waves back.
I'll still say it dramatically. Bye. He's really talking.
I just shake my head. Meet you back in the morning.
Night.
All right.
Settle down on my perch.
Is there anything else you guys would like to do before you take the night's rest?
Eat.
I will see you all when you come out of your tents in the morning.
Good night, Ollie.
And I do my sentry's rest in front of the tents.
Okay. Powering down, the eyes, the glowing eyes begin to fade as you power down for the evening.
Wait, before I go to bed, I would like to do my find familiar ritual.
Okay.
And I will do it as a ritual. So that takes me an hour and 10 minutes. I will lay out some charcoal, some incense, and some herbs, and I'll say, hey, Alcor, can you light this on fire for me?
I turn to Eli. I'm like, Eli, be careful. Fire.
I want to like frown and like kick the dirt like a little childishly.
I will produce flame and I will light up every single incense I touch in it.
Amazing, thank you.
You're welcome.
And then comes my beautiful white fox with a sort of, she's got like a jewelry sash that kind of goes around her bodice. Is anyone else around me other than Alcor right now?
Yeah,
Well,
do we see this?
yeah,
Are you in a tent?
Are
I don't really
No,
know.
we will not have lit up incense inside the tent. It's
Yeah.
unsafe. People get burned with this.
Alcor, you always know. You always
Yeah.
know.
Don't damn Eli. You want to be careful with fire.
I find that funny in spite of myself. he thinks it's funny, yeah.
out of game.
Are
This
you
is
guys still
hilarious.
Are you guys still within line of sight from the palm tree?
Oh yeah, no, they're literally like 30, 40 feet directly in
Oh,
front
okay.
of you.
Now, how big is this little animal you just summoned?
Small.
Pavo is hungry.
A small white fox with bright blue eyes.
Can I try to play with it?
Yeah, this is Shadow.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
And Shadow comes up and kind of sniffs around, rubs against your shins.
I want to pet him.
Shadow. Wow, that's quite the name for a white fox.
It's a white shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those white shadows you see nowadays.
Yeah, in daylight, it's just a blur.
Yeah. Eli, go ahead and make an animal handling check for me, please.
Oh boy.
A mixed growling.
Oh my gosh.
I wish there was a limit to the number of ones you can reroll in a day.
14.
14. So coaxing over the small creature, it seems to take to you very kindly, as it can probably smell the rations that you have in your bags. It kind of nuzzles up to you and kind of coos a little bit as you pet it.
I'll give him a little bit of food.
All right. So, taking some of the rations out of your daily dose, you hand it to the small familiar fox as it kind of takes it within its little paws, putting it down on the ground and then starting to chew away at it.
I am pleased.
Eli is pleased.
No, I exude contentment.
I know, Shadow's pretty cute, eh?
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. He's been around with me since the very beginning.
How old is he? Is that a rude question?
I don't know. I mean, he's a familiar. I don't know if you've ever heard of those, so I don't really know how age works for them.
She's not familiar with them.
But I've
Heyo.
I've had Shadow with me for a long time now, at least a couple years.
I want one of these.
And where's she been up until now?
In her parallel universe that I was telling you about.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Trix, you
gonna
hear
yawn.
Trix, you hear a voice in your head say, "Ugh, filthy creatures."
Uh-oh.
I just roll my eyes.
I'm gonna yawn and then say that I'm gonna go to bed. And then I'm gonna go to bed.
Okay.
Okay.
So, if there's nothing else that any of you would like to do for the night, go ahead and deduct 1 day's worth of rations from your inventory.
Before I go to bed, I would cast good berries. I would eat those.
Okay.
Just one. Who needs a good berry? Come on.
I
No
only
one?
have 1 day of rations. I want a berry.
Good, because you just gave your 1 day of ration to the fox.
Yeah, well, not all of it. But I guess I have no
You
rations
should
now.
have 10.
I should have 10? No, I only have 1.
I have
But that's
no
okay.
rations.
Click it.
I have 0 rations.
You should.
Okay.
Like Elara, she would pack candy but no food.
Yeah, I don't think that happens with rations.
You guys should all have 10 days worth of rations with your inventory, but
What I thought, but I don't know what's not here. I have a little
okay.
bag of sand.
all right, fair enough. Well, anyone who doesn't have rations in their inventory right now, unfortunately, it's lost at sea.
Okay.
Wait,
Can I
hold
maybe
on.
Get some food
Well,
before
Pavo's
bed,
looking
then?
at some fresh food right there that just got summoned. So.
Hold on. Me not knowing the game very well, do Warforged even need rations?
No.
No.
Nope.
Okay, well, I'll give people rations. I mean, I'll give people rations. So I won't even use mine.
So you'll give
You have
you'll give
rations?
me rations? A ration?
well, yeah, out of character, I guess, because I'm in census or sentry mode. But yeah, tomorrow.
But anybody who wants a good berry for tonight can have
Listen
a good
to
berry.
listen.
Yeah, I
It
want a
feeds
good
you for like a
berry.
whole day. And if you're not happy, then don't have any.
If I'm not happy, then don't have any.
If you don't
I'm
want it.
happy.
If you don't want any, don't take any. That's what I meant.
I'll take
I'll
one.
I'll fly down real quick if I see
Yeah, I'll
one of them out.
take anything.
Okay,
I'll take donations.
Okay.
in character, out of sentry mode, because I could hear everyone. I'll just power back on and just chuck my 10 rations on the ground and let you guys decide and go back into sentry mode.
Oh yeah, like a Warforged Oprah. You start tossing them out. You get a ration, and you get a ration, and everyone.
I thought it would more be like a vending machine. Or
Or that too. Yeah. Your own walking vending machine. That's cool.
Oh.
So yeah, 10 rations. To divide them up as much as you want.
Yeah, and just so everyone's aware, good berries do allow you. It's a berry that gives some healing points. I think it's like 1 HP, but it also acts as a full day's worth of rations.
Nice.
So, just for those of you that don't know at home or at the table. All right. So, is there anything else you guys would like to do for the evening?
Well, hold on. How did you guys divvy the rations? Or are they just sitting there on the ground?
I'll take
I'll
2.
take
Well,
one.
yeah.
Wow.
I didn't mean you actually.
10 rations.
Yeah, I didn't mean that you actually wake up and just start throwing them around. That was my Oprah joke.
Oh, but I just said, like, I don't know. I just threw them on the ground because I don't know who needs them. There's 10 of them.
I do. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4.
2 each
I'll
if we
take and
split
have
it.
any.
Rations.
2 each?
Sure. Let's
Okay.
just do that. Yeah.
All right. I'm sure they sell them in town, maybe.
Thank you, Alcor, for the berry. I will see you in the morning. Fly back up to my perch.
Bye.
All right, flying back up to your perch, you make roost for the night. Ollie, after so kindly sharing your rations with the other party members, you once again power down for the evening, and the remainder of you lay back on the sand. You do all have bedrolls that were supplied within the tents. It's a little uncomfortable to try and get to sleep because, I mean, again, you're sleeping on sand. But otherwise, you do all catch a decent night rest and dream of better days to come. And I think before...
No, I don't.
All right. For some of you, this is as good as it gets, apparently. Leave it to the European guy. Anyway.
I'm sorry, I don't dream.
Oh yeah, by the way, just so thank you for the reminder, Alcor. Unfortunately, it is
I will
not.
put my mask on.
And I'm sorry. What mask is this that you're putting on?
A sleeping mask.
Oh, you're sleeping. You're sleeping. What
Wow.
mask?
Is it dark enough in the cave?
You're not in a cave, so it's not pitch black out.
Yeah, I don't like to sleep when it's not pitch dark, pitch black. So I put my mask on.
And sorry, what type of mask is this?
It's a panda bear.
Oh, you're referring to your sleepy panda mask.
Yeah, my sleepy panda mask.
Right. Okay, perfect. The rest of you watch, Eli, Elara, and Trix, you all watch as Alcor fishes into his little bag, pulling out a furry, cartoon-like face mask that has it's very white, very fuzzy, with 2 large panda eyes directly in the center where the eyes would go, and tiny little panda ears that stick up from the top.
Of course.
So Eli thinking, I read this guy totally wrong.
I look over at Eli and say, "Princess over here."
That's awesome.
All right, with your sleepy panda mask fully equipped, you are finally able to catch a good night's rest. As you all drift away into the darkness of slumber, I think this is a good time to take a short break. When we will be back in a few short moments. So any of you watching at home, go get your apple juice, like I'm going to get mine, and I swear to God, it is apple juice. And we will return very shortly after a quick non-commercial break. And welcome back, beautiful internet you. Thanks for sticking around, or thanks for joining us if you're just now joining us. Yes, so where were we? As you all get a proper night's rest, you awake the next morning, the sun is shining once again, and you take notice that, once again, if this was any other setting, this small cove would otherwise be paradise. What would you all like to do this morning?
Can I wake up a little early? I want to sit on the beach.
All right. You wake up a little bit earlier than the rest of your crew. Laying out on the beach, you are taken aback by the beautiful sunrise as it crests just above the waves. The purplish lighting that kind of cascades throughout the sky really gives you a moment of kind of inner peace from all the turmoil that you've been facing lately. And as the colors change from purple to pinks to oranges, the sun begins to just nearly crest just over top of the ocean. As it does, you begin to hear in the background, in the tents, there seems to be some commotion as the rest of your party members have seemed to come awake.
I'll head back.
Okay. Heading back, you find everybody kind of stirring. Some of them looking a little disheveled from a tough night's rest sleeping out on the beach. Elara's hair is kind of frizzled all over the place. You see that Alcor is still asleep when you first walk in. His mask kind of slightly tilted, making it seem like the panda eyes on the sleeping mask is slightly winking. And he's got a little bit of drool kind of coming down the side.
Oh, you know it's been a good night.
How did everyone sleep?
I swooped down and joined them all.
Good.
Like a panda bear.
I slept very well, thank you.
Out of game. Do panda bears sleep very well?
I don't know. They do
Maybe
now.
they're in hibernation.
Okay, well, thank God for Google. I think that's canon now. Pannons in my world sleep very well. Take note for all of those recording on Wikipedia right now.
We should go see if Rainer is by Almanac's shop.
Ugh.
Oh, yes. On our journey for glue.
Gathering all
Of the
of
task.
Gathering all of your items, you slowly make your way over to the front of Almarak's shop, where you can see a Rainer casually flicking a dagger up in the air, allowing it to spin before catching it with the blade on the other tip of the blade. He does this a few times, and then takes notice of all of you now standing there waiting for him.
Good morning.
Hey there, Shardy. How'd you rest?
Well, thank you.
Very good. You're going to need your rest for today, that's for sure.
Why? What have you got us doing? Well, how do we get glue out of trees?
Well, you take the sap out of trees. Then Tinkerer back there, he does his little mystery black box stuff and makes a proper glue for everything.
Sounds very scientific.
Well, I'm not a man of thought. I'm a man of action.
Noted.
So shall we go then?
Yeah, absolutely. Right this way. He begins to lead you back to the cave entrance that you came through to make your way to the cove in the first place. Parting the vines out of the way, you make your way down the tight tunnel that leads to the other side. A few moments pass before you emerge on the other side. He then turns and says, "Rat." Reaches into his satchel and says, "Here, take this." And he kind of points out a roll of parchment and says, "Y'all get lost or get this moved away from me or separated from me in any way. You go ahead and take this map. This will bring you right back. Don't let that get into any pirate hands, if you understand what I'm saying." Okay, who's taking the map?
I should not take the map.
No, no, you shouldn't.
I'll hold on to it then. If no one else will reach out, I will reach out.
It's a good idea. He could fly away.
With the map.
Yep.
Better fly with a map than with a child.
Wow.
Not naming names, but Big Al. Anyway.
R.I.P.
Okay.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. So, you all begin to make your way through the jungle thicket once again. The moisture on the leaves, there's a slight dew that seems to be resonating off the leaves. Some of you pass by, get a little bit of wet as you brush by it. You travel for roughly about 45 minutes to an hour's time. And as you...
Time.
Sorry?
In that time,
Yep.
in that time, is it possible that I sort of, he's leading the way, right?
Yes.
Is it possible that I sort of hang back a little bit so that he can't see me? And I would like to cast minor illusion on him and create a whisper in the wind behind his ear that says, "Karma will come for you, especially if you're not nice to this group, specifically Elara."
Sure, yeah, you can do that.
Wow.
As you guys continue onward, occasionally you'll see Raynor kind of flick at his ear for a minute, like there's a bug or something around it, and kind of look around, and he looks back, and he kind of looks at the end of the line and gives a bit of a stink eye to Elara.
I'm just going to be looking like completely opposite like this. Oh, wow, it's so beautiful here.
Do we hear it?
No, I don't
It
think
is
there's a
beautiful,
verbal-
isn't it?
There's no verbal component. Oh, but do you guys hear it?
Do we hear the wind?
I guess if it goes past you, it would. You would hear it. Yeah, it's a whisper in the wind.
Well, Alcor, go ahead and make a perception check for me. Oh, actually, no, you don't need to. Occasionally, you hear a little bit of it. You don't hear the full sentence of it. You kind of just hear "Karma, Elara, Karma, Elara." You guys continue onward for a little while. When all of a sudden you begin to hear some large rustling. Jesus, Murphy. You hear some rustling in the bushes.
How's that apple juice?
Yeah, really. Tell me about it. Woo! This is the strong apple juice, my friend. This is the fully fermented kind. As you off to the right-hand side of you, the bushes begin to rustle as if a relatively large creature seems to be close to you, within your close proximity. Raynor immediately draws both of his swords. I need all of you to make a perception check for me, please.
25.
10.
20.
17.
Eli?
10.
10. Oh, quick math. Quick math. That's 5. And that's... All right. So with that, you kind of all gauge and look into the forest bushes, but you don't really seem to see anything at this point. As everyone's kind of checking around, all of a sudden you start to hear a low guttural growl coming from the other side. Raynor kind of looks over, looking back and forth, and says, something ain't right about all this. Hey, Seagull boy, why don't you go get us an aerial view? You can fly, can't you?
Manners. And I go up anyway.
Mhm.
So I
Pavo
fly up.
Pavo takes to the skies to survey the area. After not being able to see much at first, all of a sudden you see a small streak of pink light, almost like a ribbon caught on the wind that catches your eye. The pink light quickly flies around you, kind of sizing you up, trying to get a sense of what this young Aarakocra is all about. It centers into a pink dot of light directly in front of your face when you hear a young female voice say, "You are not like the others. You are a sky dweller like us. What are you?"
What are you?
"I am what many call pixie."
A pixie. I've never come across one of you before.
"I have never come across something with such large wings before, and such a strange nose."
Well, I am called an Aarakocra.
"An Alalakoki?"
Sure. Well, however you choose to pronounce it.
"Well, Alakoki, I think you have lovely colors.
Well, thank you.
Tell me, do you like to play tricks on people as well?"
No, I do not.
"Oh, well,
Are you a trickster? Should I
Yes.
be worried about you?
I would not hurt anyone, but
Are there more of you?
there are many of us. There are some in the skies, some in the ground, some in the water, some in the fire."
I'm looking around to see if I see any more pink dots floating around anywhere.
Make a perception check for me, please.
17.
17, where you get a good view of everything. Doesn't look like there's any around. She takes notice of you, kind of noticing, trying to look around. She says, "You won't see any of the rest of us. We only are seen when we want to be seen."
So then why do you want to be seen right now?
"Because I find you very fascinating. I have never seen one that flies like you. Not like them." And you can kind of instinctually know that she's looking down at the party below. "Why are you here?"
We are stranded on this island trying to find a way off.
"But why are you here now?"
Right now, this instance, we're looking for some glue trees.
"Glue trees. What is glue trees?"
Trees that produce glue to fix equipment.
"You mean sticky trees?"
Sure.
She kind of floats off to the left-hand side of you, now centered over at the east, and says, "You mean like those down there?" Looking downward, you can see a cluster of orange-leaved trees.
Now, is the party heading in the right direction, or are they going to a different direction?
They're headed a little north, where this kind of veers off east a little bit.
Yes. Those would most likely be the trees we're looking for. Thank you for your assistance.
As you look back, the pink dot has now disappeared.
As I'm talking to myself. Okay, so I head back down to the party and explain to them that the trees that we're looking for most likely seem to be right to the east of us.
Good eye.
Wait. How do you know that?
I saw them from the air.
Oh.
She's
Plus, I was visited by a little pixie thing.
Pixie?
Pixie thing.
Pixie?
Yes, a little.
a pixie thing. There's no such
pixie.
thing as pixies.
You can believe what you may, but I was having a conversation with one up in the air.
I don't know who you were having a conversation with there, Seagull Boy, but might have found that you did, because it seems we were a little off hilt there for a moment now, weren't we?
Yes, we were. So if we head this direction, we should be able to complete our task in a much more efficient time.
After you then, Seagull Boy.
All right. Start heading in the direction we need to go.
Okay.
Keeping an eye out to see if I see those pixies again.
Do we know what pixies are?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Make a nature check for me, please.
I know what they are. They're little pink dots that float around and talk to you.
Nature, you said?
Yes.
That's a
14.
14.
Oh, again!
Stop it, Trix!
Twinsies! All right. So with a 14, you've heard legend of pixies before. You've never actually seen one, mostly because, as the lore says, you cannot see a pixie unless it wants to be seen. And in an event where a pixie wants to be seen, that is a very unique circumstance. Not something that typically happens in just everyday life. Usually pixies are only seen when... Usually pixies are only seen when there's meaning behind it.
I'm just wondering, do we know that they are trickster? Like trick people?
We'll say that you would probably, based on the lore, you've probably heard something about that. Not too much detail, though, in any way.
Okay. I'll just be careful going forward.
Sure.
Careful. Alcor,
I wanna
you're always
ask,
so uptight. What is this? Be careful stuff. Come on, let's go. Where's your sense of adventure?
We're going. I just want to be careful about it.
I want to know what the pixie said to Pavo. The stuff about the tricking. What did
Just
she
asked
say?
me if I like to play tricks. I said no. And then pointed me in the right direction of where we needed to go. It was fascinating. I'd never seen something like me before.
Maybe if we can make friends with them, they can help us trick the pirates.
Maybe. If I see one again, I'll let you know.
Alcor and Trix, from what you've read in the lore, or heard in the lore, pixies, while they are tricksters, aren't necessarily dangerous in any way, shape, or form. They're not something that that attacks things. They're more just annoyances than anything else. Kind of pranksters, if you will.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so you all begin to make your way to the easterly direction now that was pointed out by Pavo, as he is now leading the party. And you make your way to a bit of a clearing. Seem to be strange trees, very similar to palms, but these all have an orange auburn leaf color to it. Throughout everything you're seeing here, you do also notice a fair amount of cobwebs that seem to be in and around the area.
Spiders.
These must be the trees.
So how do we harvest the glue?
So,
Yeah.
Rainer, how big of a spider are we looking at here?
I mean, looking at all these cobwebs, I'm slightly impressed that that you were able to figure that out. I would say we probably don't want to disturb the cobwebs as much as possible to get to the actual trees themselves. Once we get to the trees, really just hit it with an axe or any kind of bladed weapon. You should be able to draw some of the sap from the trees.
Bladed weapon? You think you could have told us that before we came out here?
Raynor kind of looks over at Alcor and says, "Really not the brightest one, is she?"
She's pretty good at what she does, which is not cutting trees.
If you say so. Yeah, if you,
I hate to be Captain Obvious, but did we bring something to store this sap?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we have a bottle?
I don't know. Did you guys bring a bottle? Did you bring anything to collect the sap?
I could put it in my water skin, as I do not need water.
Okay.
I have
Perfect.
an oil flask. I don't know if it's empty.
Dump it out, it will be.
Yeah. Okay, so I have something that we can use.
All right. So, who's going
Use
to
some
go?
of the water from the water skin to clean it out to make sure it doesn't contaminate the glue.
Are we near the water?
Well, his water skin from the...
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right.
That's a good idea.
So, you dump the water out into your oil flask, rinsing it out a little bit, dumping it back out. You now have a clear oil flask.
Okay. And then the next issue would be getting something to actually get into the tree. Did they take all our weapons, or did we get them back?
No, you got all your back. You got them all back. They were all huddled in a pile when you guys were at the beach when the pirates first captured you. You now have the vast majority of your inventory. Yes.
I have a dagger and a short sword. You guys, I'm guessing, have stuff. No.
I have a scimitar.
Okay.
Are we able to get to these trees without disturbing the spider webs?
I guess we're gonna find out, aren't we?
No.
Pavo!
I'll fly up and over. I don't care.
Who is going to go ahead and try and get to the trees?
I will. Don't worry,
think-
guys. I got this.
I think I
Got this.
should also be one of the people who goes.
All right.
I'll go because I have no reason not to trust my party.
So
But we don't want to disturb the.
yeah, there's a pretty vast array of spider webs and
Yeah.
cobwebs around right now.
If Tin Man moves, I stay.
As
But
I
then I
look
don't
around,
trust you.
can I see any visible spiders anywhere?
Make a perception check for me.
19.
19. Where you don't see any directly, your keen senses can pick up a bit of scattering, kind of
Oh.
as it kind of all there's the sound kind of emanates around you.
Well, there's definitely spiders here. I can hear them. I just don't see where they're coming from.
Well,
Maybe it's best I
I'm gonna
don't-
try.
Do you think we could burn the spider webs
I wouldn't.
without affecting the trees?
I think
That's
I'm
not
gonna-
going to create a forest fire in any way, shape, or form. That's
Depends on
fine.
what time of year.
Yeah, okay.
If there's a heavy moisture, then the trees won't catch on fire.
I don't think our major concern is disturbing the trees, although we do need them. I think burning the webs might attract the spiders.
Yeah, but they'd have less of an advantage without their webs.
Okay.
Why don't we? Why don't?
I think we gotta try this
try?
without. Yeah.
Yeah, let's try, and then worst case scenario,
I'll
we
just shoot some
light it
fire
up.
bolts.
yeah.
And I'm the fire maniac.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You're gonna first try and set the fire the cobwebs that are all around the
No, no,
forest
no.
on
No, no,
fire.
no,
we're
no.
not setting
Yeah.
things on fire.
No,
Okay,
no,
all right.
no.
Oh.
I'm gonna try to gingerly avoid the cobwebs. Actually, I'm gonna take off my coat first, so that way I'm more aerodynamic, and then I'm gonna try to around the
Maybe I feel like Eli should go because he's small.
That's true. But I didn't do that much thinking. So if you want to start going, once I start going, then feel free. But
Okay.
I don't think
Okay.
I would have used that much thought.
Okay.
I was just
Just
like, guys,
hopping
I got
over.
this.
All right, so Trix is going ahead and she's going to start making her way. Is Eli following behind?
Yeah, I'm gonna follow her and I'm gonna be like, hold on, I have the dagger and the bottle.
Okay, so first off, I am going to need you both to make a dexterity saving throws for me, please.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20?
19.
19. Very good. Okay, so you guys are able to kind of weave your way through these cobwebs, trying your best not to disturb them. Surprisingly, you both do very well in terms of trying to get away from it all. But there seems to be a large kind of wall of cobwebs that you've been led to at this point. I'm going to need both of you to make an acrobatics check to see if you can make it over top without disturbing.
11.
22.
Okay, so Trix, you are easily able to hop over the kind of half wall of cobwebs that are clearly in your way. Eli, you thinking a little bit ahead. You kind of find a way to kind of squeeze your way underneath it, not having to actually hop over it in any way, shape, or form. As you get You're just inches away from, well, probably feet away from the trees at this point. As you hear more scurrying kind of coming from above you, I need you both to make, we'll say, I need you both to make charisma saves for me, please.
Oof, 10.
That's right. Okay. 25.
Oh my God.
25. Wow. All right. Remember that thing I was saying beforehand where you have to send your character sheet to the DM just in case you have all 20? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going to charm the pants off of these
So,
spiders.
as you start to feel a slight grip of fear overcome you, Eli, you feel Trix's hand on your shoulder, kind of giving you a little bit more courage. You find that courage kind of buried down deep inside you as you kind of shake off the nerves. You have all success. You've both made it successfully to the trees.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay. So, do we want to try to figure out how to I feel like you know when you go on those like field trips in science and you would have to like get the maple syrup out of the trees with a little tap and stuff. Sorry, out of game. Anyway, do you want to just try this? Like just go for it?
Yeah.
You hear
Yeah, I get it.
from behind you, just stab the damn tree.
All right, I'll pull out my dagger. Actually, I'll pull out my dagger and then I'll be like, you got the bottle? And I'll just stab the tree.
Okay.
Okay, stabbing
Always
into the
with the
tree.
power.
I need you to go ahead and make an athletics check for me.
21!
Jesus
God.
Christ!
What's happening?
All right, so you stab hard into the tree using all your satire or satyr might as you pierce into the bark of the tree, finding its inner fibers. And as you pull the dagger away, gloops of a auburn-like sap begin to pour out of the, well, not pour out, but squeeze out of the tree.
Okay, I'll try to catch
All right, we
Okay.
got this.
So, putting the flask underneath. Is it a bottle or is it a flask? I thought you said it was
It's a flask.
Okay, so putting the flask underneath the globules as they kind of pour out of the tree. You guys are easily able to fill up the bottle and probably, hopefully, collect enough sap that the tinkerer himself can make whatever glue he needs to make out of it.
Okay, I want to give Trix a high five.
Yeah.
And then start to go
Start to
back.
head back.
As you guys give each other a high five, you're a little bit shocked at first because as you make connection, a large rumble kind of dissipates throughout the ground. Much louder than what you would assume a high five would make.
Oh no.
You then notice that another large rumble is coming a little bit further east of where you are right now. You can hear the strange noises of the spiders kind of across the treetops begin to scatter away from you in all directions. You hear more loud thuds as though a marching is happening. Raynor now takes notice of this and cuts through the cobwebs and makes his way up to you and says, "Y'all hear that?"
No, Raynor. We don't hear the
You disturbed all these freaking
loud.
cobwebs to ask us if we heard the loud booming noise.
Kidding me?
Well, if you hadn't heard all the spiders scatter away, then I assume that we're just fine right now. But shh, just give me a second. And he kind of bends down, putting his hand to the ground and kind of tilting his head a little bit as he focuses.
I bend down and copy him.
I also do the same.
I can't tell if y'all are mocking me right now or you honestly know what you're doing.
We'll see.
But you guys feel that? You feel those vibrations?
I feel the vibrations, Raynor.
You can feel them good vibrations?
I feel them big vibrations real good, Raynor.
You know what that is then.
It's a sweet
I
sensation.
don't know what
The
it is.
Beach Boys.
That's a pretty heavy wagon that's being dragged across.
Oh my god. So ridiculous.
Is it the pirates, do you think? With more people that they've captured?
Only one way to find out.
Shoddy not.
He begins to he seemingly disappears into some large reeds that are close to where you guys are at this point.
I guess he's hiding.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna follow him.
All right, following him, you come to a little bit of a clearing that opens up to a pretty large trailed path. You see 3 pirates following behind a horse-drawn wagon with a cage in the back, very similar in design to the one you first saw with Thomas trapped inside on the beach. In front of the wagon seems to be 2 hooded figures, both wearing dark blue robes. And then leading the convoy is a shorter, older man, hunched over, leaning on a wooden staff. The staff is adorned with a bleached white goat skull, with strange trinkets that seem to be hanging from its horns. The man also seems to be closer to akin to a beast, as the majority of his body is covered in a thick brown hair. Around his shoulders, he wears what looks to be a lion or another wildcat pelt, and long seashell necklace with a strange medallion seemingly which was made from a coral-like substance. His long, wild hair is completely unkempt and flows down past his back and past his rump. He wears nothing else save for a tattered brown loincloth.
Doesn't look like any pirate I've ever seen.
Raynor kind of puts his hand over your mouth and says, "Shh." What do you think?
Look at the guy with the horns, with the trinkets hanging from them, and I whisper, "That guy's got style."
He looks like he leads a tribe.
Well, I'm not sure about where you're from, but if something's wearing, adorning skulls of some kind, it generally doesn't mean that it's a very good person.
Maybe he's a shaman.
You're pretty quick there, Shorty. Hey, Sparkles, go back and get the others. Be quiet about it.
I go back. I go back. At the others. I just motion.
Are you all
Are they
following?
still-
Yeah.
I think she wants us to follow her.
I tell Shadow to get up on my shoulders.
You sorry, what?
What?
Tell Shadow to get up on my shoulders.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Gosh. Ooh, shadow.
Kind of hops up onto your shoulder and kind of wraps around you.
Are they still moving? The convoy?
Oh, yeah.
Are we kind of like moving to keep up with them, or are we just in one spot?
You all meet up to where Eli and Raynor are sitting right now. And he kind of gives the motion of all, get down and shh. You watch as the convoy passes, giving it a few moments to get a little bit of a lead. Raynor says, best bet's to follow him if we want to get some more information, see what's going on around here.
I agree. Maybe the opportunity to save these people.
Tin Man,
will
Tin
arise.
Man, keep it down.
Is there
Apologies.
that cage that we see? Is there anybody in there?
From what you can see, make a perception check for me.
That'd be a 13.
13. Unfortunately, the windows and bars seem to be covered at this point, so not allowing you to see in it. But as the wagon kind of hobbles back and forth, you do seem to catch what looks to be a hand holding on to one of the bars.
Can I look specifically for the black stone on any of their equipment and stuff?
You can go ahead and make a perception check with disadvantage. They're pretty far away from you at this point.
Okay. 8.
8. A lot of their weaponry seems to be sheathed at this point, or the arrows seem to be stuck in their quills or their quivers. Unfortunately, you can't make out whether they have any black stone items or not.
Okay.
Okay, let's follow them.
Before we
Alright.
start following, look behind him to see if there's anybody else following them, like coming down the same path.
Okay. You wait for a few moments, just till they're almost out of eye shot. Looking behind, there doesn't seem to be anyone following behind.
Okay. Shouldn't be too hard to track with these big wheels.
Mm-hmm.
Raynor looks at you all and says, all right, low and slow, low and slow. Tin Man, stay quiet, all right?
I will do my best.
All right. You begin to follow them, and you end up following them probably for about another half an hour. After which they come to a massive rotted ancient tree trunk. Large molded roots flow away from the trunk, now pushed up above the ground. The surrounding areas that the roots reach look to have been pollinated or infected with the same slimy mold. The convoy enters through a large natural archway that seems to have been eaten out of the tree trunk, leading into what looks to be a bit of a hollow chamber from where you stand. You are all probably about 40 yards away from the entrance at this point, as Raynor, kind of now leading, keeps himself low and is motioning you forward to get closer to the entrance.
I'll go.
Yeah, sneak up.
Okay. I need everyone to make stealth checks for me, please.
I'm pretty good at that. 19.
With disadvantage, 11.
11 also.
This is not with disadvantage. This is just a straight stealth check.
He has it with his
Oh no, I
armor.
just have disadvantage. I rolled
Oh,
twice
right,
and got
because
11
yeah,
points.
that's right. Okay, so you got 11,
17.
17.
6. My streak is over.
Oh, Eli.
I also had 11.
Okay, and Alcor.
11.
Wow, lots of 11s.
Oh, wow, that's weird.
So that's, yeah, you guys make that, no problem. All right, so you make it to the front entrance with anyone none the wiser. Peering into the chamber, it is lowly lit by floating blue flames that give an eerie tint to the surroundings. In the center of the chamber, 3 large stones stand with chains attached to it. About 20 feet above the ground, the trunk slightly protrudes inward, creating somewhat of an overhang platform. You can see the strange man and the 2 hooded figures standing close to the edge behind what looks like a makeshift stone altar. As they prepare, the 3 pirates on the ground pull 3 prisoners from the wagon's carriage. You recognize one of the captives as a member of the crew from your ship. The prisoners struggle to get away, however, the pirates easily overpower them, chaining them to the 3 stones and then backing away. The strange man with the staff stands before the altar, bowing his head for a moment, and begins to sing some type of chant very similar to Tibetan throat singing. As he lifts his head back, you can now see that he is holding the medallion around his neck. The center of the medallion splits open like an eye awakening. Inside peers back a small marble or pearl that emanates a blue light that bathes the altar in an eerie blue glow. You can now see the strange man's eyes also hold the same strange blue glow. The prisoners suddenly stiffen as they are bathed in the same strange blue light coming from these liquid blue pools that seem to have emerged out of nowhere, surrounding each one of them and the stones. Suddenly, a column of water jets upward, obscuring the views of the prisoners. The 3 pirates now fall back and are visually becoming quite uneasy. The silence is broken as 3 separate screams in horrific pain ring out.
Guys, we have to do something.
As suddenly as it started,
Nice.
it all comes to an end. The screams stop as the columns fall, making a loud splashing noise as the water hits the ground. The 3 prisoners hunched over unconscious. The strange man, his eyes and necklace no longer glowing, peers over the side of the altar down towards the three, eagerly awaiting some kind of response. You watch as the skin of the 3 prisoners begin to bubble like a child blowing into their milk. As each bubble pops, they uncover their skin has now started to change to a pale gray and blue. It's no longer skin at all, but now scales. Parts of their body begin to grow gills and fin-like appendages as the 3 prisoners take on features of various aquatic life forms. The strange man begins to smile, but as the transformation continues, the prisoners begin to ooze a black, oily liquid. The smell of rotting fish wafts from the center of the room. The remaining skin and scales now beginning to droop down, almost as if the skin itself was melting away. The man's smile turns to a frown as he calls down to the pirates. "Not strong enough, these ones. Dispose of them, and meet us back at the temple." The man and the 2 robed figures turn and exit from another hole seemingly at the back of the tree. The pirates begin to advance on the 3 prisoners, now half-melted figures. Strange gooey tendrils begin to shoot out of the lumps of the now scale and fish-like the scales and the flesh, wrapping themselves around each one of the pirates. They scream out as the tendrils tighten their grips as an acidic steam begins to emanate from the pirates. You watch as the tendrils wrench the pirates into each one of the clumps. The pirates now desperately to crawl their way out and plead and beg. But it's not enough. You watch as the last one disappears into the disgusting lumps. The oozy flesh abomination grows as they seemingly digest each one of the pirates. As the growing stops, the 3 clumps now begin to merge with one another into this strange bluish purple clump of gore. Now 3 times the size, the simple lump spews out more tendrils as it flails all about. Reaching forward, the tendrils hit the ground directly in front of the doorway with a sickening wet slap as it makes contact with the ground, and then begin to pull itself towards the entrance. Raynor now looks to the group and says, if that thing sucks up any more life forms, there's no telling how big it can get. We're going to have to put it down here hard and fast. You 6 think you can handle it?
What on earth just happened?
Weren't those people though?
All right, they ain't people no more, and if that thing has any more life in it, it doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon. If this thing gets out, and it does attack the other life forms, there's no stopping it. Can you imagine this thing getting to the water?
Before?
Have I ever seen anything like this? Do it looks like I've seen anything like this before? I never seen anything like this in my life.
Why did he?
I agree.
Why did he leave it with the pirates? Like, couldn't he anticipate that it was gonna do this? He just called them not strong enough.
Yeah, obviously they were stronger than he thought.
Listen, we can speculate all we like, but we got to act now, and we got to act fast. Are you guys going to be able to handle this without me?
Without you? Where are you going, buddy?
Listen. I believe in you guys. I think. Maybe. We'll see. But that thing right there, that's an effect of something. And I intend on finding out what the cause of that something is.
So you're gonna leave us with this sea monster?
6 of you, one of them. Seems like good odds to me if you know your way around a sword.
Oh my god.
7 to 1 seems better to me.
Yeah, for real.
If I go after this thing as well, we let those other 3 get away.
Fine. We don't need you anyways.
I appreciate that, beautiful, but and the vote of confidence in yourselves. Listen, if I don't make it back, you follow that map back to the Cove and you tell Shepard what you saw here today. You understand?
Well, you're assuming that we're gonna make it out. But okay.
Sometimes you got to put faith where faith isn't earned. But I guess that's what faith is.
Oh, God. All right.
Oh, thanks for the pep talk.
Yeah.
Okay, Braveheart.
All right, you just
Go.
get out of here, do what you gotta do before you bring this morale level any lower than it already is.
All right. Trusting you folk. Best of luck. All things aside, good luck. And he throws up his hood of his cloak and disappears around the other side of the trunk.
Okay.
All right, let's
Well,
take
it's been
care of
nice knowing
this.
y'all.
Yeah.
Is there a reason we're not running?
We can't run. He's saying we have to kill it because if it gets out and keeps eating people, it's gonna get bigger.
It's going to kill us anyway, so
Mm-hmm.
let's try now.
It's either we stop it now or it gets bigger and becomes harder later.
Exactly.
All right.
Should
I
we
mean-
surprise it with a sneak attack?
Does it look like the other sea monsters? Does it look like the one that attacked the boat?
No, this definitely isn't as anywhere near as large as the sea creature was. And the sea creature definitely didn't have ooze kind of falling off it in places. The tendrils are much smaller. It seems to be of a different variety of creature altogether.
Is it heading our direction towards the entrance of the cave?
Oh yeah.
So why don't we wait till it gets right there and just ambush it?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stay back from the ambush. I like to hit things from afar.
Okay, well then position yourself a little further away.
I will.
All right, let's go.
So let's wait for it to get to the entrance and do our thing, I guess.
Okay.
Whatever that is.
All right. So, with that said, I need you all to roll initiative for me, please.
Yes. 6.
And move that over to here.
Oof.
7.
And hit play on that.
Eight.
19.
5.
Hold on a second, guys.
5, 6, 7, 8.
We're all going last.
Who do we annihilate?
At least I got my 1 out of the way right now.
Yeah.
All right, let's make sure that they can see this now on the stream. Our first battle map, folks.
Woo!
Ooh.
High-tech graphics.
Those
Yeah.
icons are epic.
That's right. That's right. Y'all get 8-bit to start with.
Oh, copyrighted. No stealing.
Yeah. All right. So, Alcor. Alcor?
Oh, I got 8.
8. Elara.
17.
17. Pavo.
I got a 6.
Trix.
7.
7. Ollie.
5.
And Eli.
19.
Wow. Guys are rolling bangers tonight, let me tell you. All right, so first up is Eli, followed by Elara. So, Eli, as the creature kind of lurches slowly towards, as it kind of pulls itself behind these tiny acidic tendrils, what would you like to do?
So I'm hidden, right? So that means I can use sneak attack, but I have to hit it first.
You always have to hit first before you can
Okay.
apply sneak attack. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna try to attack it with my short sword. There's nothing else I can do.
So you wouldn't be hidden if you run out in front of it to hit it with your short sword.
But aren't we ambushing it? Isn't that the whole?
You're attempting to surprise it, but again, with the short sword, you have to be within 5 feet of any kind of melee attack, unless otherwise stated. So you'd have to come out of hiding in order to do it. The other option for when it comes to sneak attack, you have to wait until another ally is engaged with it to essentially flank it.
Okay. Can I hold my action though, so I can get the sneak attack?
You absolutely can.
That's what I'm gonna do then, because
So-
I feel like I'll do more damage that way.
So, crouching down beside the front entrance of the trunk, you look over to Elara and say, "Go, go, go." Elara, what would you like to do?
I stay back. I told you I stay back. And while I'm saying that, I'm going to be like rolling my hands and I'm going to create basically a ball of fire and shoot out and cast Firebolt.
Okay, so as you do, kneading this kind of arcane dough in your hand, you kind of pull it outward more into a bolt-like kind of structure as you kind of aim back, throwing it forward. Go ahead and make a spell attack for me, please.
Oh, yay. That was actually a good roll. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. The bolt hits the creature plane into what you would assume is the chest as it lets out this strange gurgling growl. Go ahead and roll damage for me.
8 points of fire damage.
All right, so you see a little burst of flames kind of spread over its chest, seemingly lighting the black oil, kind of ablaze for only a moment, but it quickly fizzles out across the chest. The creature continues to move forward, not allowing anything to stop it. So, Eli, I'm assuming you're waiting for someone to come in melee contact with it, or to get
Yeah,
within the
so-
5 feet? All right.
Yeah.
So now seeing that there's some individuals in front of it, not necessarily seeing because it doesn't necessarily have eyes, the gory, fishy, jelly mess thing is now going to, it spits off some strange droplets that seem to kind of rain down in an arc around you. I got to see the map here for a second. So that would be Eli is somewhere around here. Those two are there. 10, 20. So I would need Pavo, Trix, and Eli all to make dexterity saving throws for me, please.
Natural 20.
Woo!
So
Pew, 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 pew,
25.
pew.
7.
There goes all those 20s, eh? There, Trix. Pavo and Eli, with your immense ambidextrous acrobatic movements, you're able to quickly move out of the way of each one of these falling droplets of acid. However, Trix, you kind of get bombarded by a few of them as it rains down on top of you. You take 3 points of acid damage. Continuing, the creature lurches forward just slightly as it's having to pull this massive weight behind these small tendrils that are lashing out around. All right, next up, Alcor, you are up. Beatrix, you are on deck.
So nobody's in close combat with it yet?
No one is in close combat with it yet. Getting pretty close. The creature's probably only about 5 feet away from your frontline companions.
Then I'll hold my action.
Okay. And what are you holding your action for? Just so I know.
I hold until somebody goes into close combat too.
Okay, so you're waiting for someone to come into melee range. So
Yeah.
you taking the same position as Eli, kind of flanking on the other side of the entranceway. You kind of push forward, trying to get your members to go lean forward into the battle.
Hold on. I have a new spell.
Okay.
I will cast Ice Knife because it bursts into pieces afterwards.
So you're not holding your action?
No, I would cast Ice Knife now.
Ice knife. Okay, so as you do, you kind of stand steady and firm in front, relatively in front of the creature. As raising your hands to the sky, you watch as little icicles kind of form above Alcor's head as he throws down this gauntlet of ice down towards the creature. Go ahead and make an attack for me.
That's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. The ice pelts kind of sink directly into the creature as it kind of gets ricocheted and Swiss cheesed as these icicles kind of dig down deep into the creature. Go ahead and roll damage for me, please.
4.
4?
4 damage, yeah.
Okay, so the icicles disappear into the creature, causing a little bit of sizzle as the acidic nature of the creature kind of melts around each one of the icicles. Is there anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
No, that's it.
Okay, Beatrix, what would you like to do? You are up.
I would like to cast my Mind Sliver at it. So that
Okay.
would be an intelligence save.
Okay. So the yeah, okay, that'll work. What's the save on that?
14.
14. So you reach out, closing your eyes for a moment. You reach your hand out, trying to focus on the creature itself. As you feel a little bit of what resembles that of a mind, you close your fist tightly, trying to create that tension needed for that psychic strike. Unfortunately, the whatever consciousness that is there slips between your fingers. Unfortunately, it has no effect on the creature at this point. Is there anything else you'd like to do on your turn, Trix?
No.
Okay. Pavo, you are up. Ollie, you're on deck.
All right, I'm going to grab my quarterstaff. I'm going to take a leap by swinging my wings up, jump down, and come straight down on top of it with my quarterstaff.
What's
Moves right here in front of it
Okay.
and attacking him.
All right. You spread your wings wide as you kind of jump up into the air, getting a little bit of height, trying to leverage yourself as much as you can and create as much impact down on this strange creature as possible. Floating downward, you come down hard with your staff. Go ahead and make an attack for me.
18.
18. You cut almost directly into it as the jelly strange creature seems to mold around your staff as it cuts through directly. Go ahead and roll damage for me, please.
10.
Okay, 10 points of damage. You seemingly cut through a fair amount of this as chunks of this jellyfish gore mess seems to split out and kind of splatter across everywhere. As you go to try and pull your staff out, it seems to be stuck just a little bit. I need you to go ahead and make a strength save for me.
Strength save?
Strength save.
Well, that would be a 4.
4. The ooze seems to be pulling, sucking your staff in. It seems to be disappearing, and as it disappears, you watch as it starts getting eaten away by the acidic nature of this creature to the point of where now one of its tendrils reaches out and grabbing you by the wrist. You feel a sharp burn on your wrist as you take 2 points of acid damage and are now grappled by the creature.
Okay.
Olive.
That was my bonus action.
Ollie, what would you like to do?
My thing now, or
Oh,
do I
actually,
have
yeah,
to
that's
wait?
right. Eli, go ahead and you now have one of your allies within close combat. If you'd like to go ahead and take your turn.
Yes, I'm gonna attack him with my short sword.
Okay.
So that is a 21 to hit.
Okay, running up just to the side of the creature rather than trying to take it face first. Pulling out your short sword, you swing down on it, trying to slice at some of the tendrils. You are easily able to cut through some of the tendrils, now leading directly into the body of the creature. You plunge in with your sword. You seem to pierce directly through the creature. Go ahead and roll damage for me.
So that's 6 piercing.
Okay, so as you pierce through into this creature's side, you also see your sword begin to corrode a little bit around the acidic nature of this creature. I need you to go ahead and make a strength save for me, please.
Oh, that sucks. Ooh. Roll again. 17.
17. As you see the corrosion now almost rusting your sword almost, you kind of yank back as hard as you can, almost falling backwards as you do, but you do seem to are able to pull the sword directly out of the creature, repositioning yourself for another attack. Is there anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
Nope.
All right, Ollie, you are up with Alcor on deck.
All right, I'm gonna run right in front of the creature here, and I'm gonna use my inflict wounds.
Okay.
Right.
So, as you begin to focus on the divinity, trying to connect with your god for that brief moment, you can feel this surge of necrotic energy as it kind of cascades through your hand into your forearm. You kind of feel it now embedding itself directly into both of your hands. Looking down, you can see a purplish glow of arcane light now emanating from your hands. Reaching out, you grab your... Are you going to do it with just your hands, or are you doing it with your mace?
I think I have to use my mace.
Okay, so pulling your mace out, the mace now starting to glow the same shimmering necrotic purple light as your hands are. You slam down towards the creature. Go ahead and make an attack roll for me, please.
All right. 22 to hit.
22 absolutely hits. You sink directly through this creature, splitting parts of it right down the middle. It lets off another ghastly gurgle as your mace comes splitting down through it. This black ichor once again spews out from the creature, very similar to what you saw with the other sea creature. Go ahead and roll damage for me, please.
All right, that's 14 damage.
14 damage. Parts of the creature are now falling off as it's now glooping down. It's looking very bloody, you'd assume, based on the amount of black ichor that is now covering the entire creature. Is there anything else you'd like to do on your turn, Ollie?
I'll use my bonus action Shield of Faith on Eli.
Okay. You go to attempt to spark up your Shield of Faith. As you do, you feel a yank at your mace. It seems to be now stuck in the creature, very similar to like all of your other allies who made any kind of melee attack on it. You see the corrosion starting to happen around just the spiked ball of the mace itself. I need you to go ahead and make a strength save for me, please.
Oh, shit. 7.
7. As you do, your mace slowly gets sucked into the creature. You watch as parts of it begin to fizzle away under the acidic nature of it. The tendrils now reach out, grabbing onto your upper forearm. You begin to feel a strange sensation as your metal arm begins to corrode as well, just like the metal mace itself. You take 2 points of acidic damage. You are now considered grappled with the creature. Going to the top of the round. Eli, you are up. What would you like to do?
I am going... also, wasn't I supposed to have another 1d6 because I had advantage? Am I not understanding this right?
You absolutely did, and I apologize. That was my mistake. I'm not.
Can I do it now?
You're a little far from retcon, but if you do, we're going to assume that if you do hit, that will apply
Okay.
double the sneak attack damage. How about that?
Also, did my Shield of Faith land on her?
The Shield of Faith did not work because you did miss the strength save.
Okay.
Okay. It's a 9 to hit.
A 9 to hit. So, as you watch as now 2 of your allies completely grappled with this creature, Pavo screaming out in pain, Ollie looking down and seeing basically his arm corrode, almost rust directly in it, Elara standing back, not knowing what to do, Trix kind of sitting there, kind of like, whatever. You take a final thrust as you maneuver between all of the tendrils that seem to be in your way. Using your halfling dexterity, you pierce towards the creature. Go ahead and... Oh, you made your attack roll. Piercing into the creature, you dig through further than what you had before. And as you do, a final screech comes directly from the creature as it begins to melt completely around your sword. Go ahead and make your attack... roll your damage. And include double your sneak attack damage.
Okay, so that is 7 plus 4 plus 6. So what is that? 16?
16 points of damage.
7, 4, 6. Yeah.
As you hear this squeal coming from this strange creature, you feel this surge of adrenaline as instead of pulling back, you push forward, continuing onward. You strike directly through the creature, piercing through the entire thing. You scream out with just sheer adrenaline coursing through your veins. And as you do, your sword reaches the other side of the creature. The entire mess gives a slight explosion as bits of flesh and scales, fish scales, spew out from the creature as it now falls. You all, Ollie and Pavo, you feel the clutches of its tendrils begin to melt away from your arms as the entire creature slowly melts into a mess on the floor in front of you.
Whew.
Is my quarterstaff ruined?
Wow.
Your quarterstaff is halfway messed up.
And Mace is emaciated.
The mace will also need a little bit of repair.
All right, Eli, you're
Ooh.
fierce for a little guy.
Well done,
Okay.
Eli. Well done.
Why, thank you. Thank you. I'll do a little bow. Okay. I don't want to just like stand around here. I feel like we should hide and wait for. Did he tell us anywhere to meet him? Rainer?
No, he just said he was going to follow.
He did not.
Okay. I feel like we should head straight back before somebody else figures out we're here.
Wait, should we check out the altar, see if there's anything there?
Yeah.
Probably
Maybe
be
the
a
person
good
left
idea.
something we could loot
Okay.
and prevent them from doing another ritual.
Okay. Ollie, I need you to either make an athletics check for me, or I need you to make a acrobatics check for me. One of the two.
Let's go with athletics.
Okay.
16.
16. So, digging into the walls of the hollow tree, you're able to climb up to that second overhang of the tree itself, to where they were seemingly were completing the rituals. Walking over to the altar, you peer down. Go ahead and make an investigation check for me.
Okay. 17.
17. Okay. As you kind of look over the top of the altar, there doesn't seem to be anything really there. It looks like they might have taken anything. Looking a little disappointed, you kind of push back from the altar for a moment, only to notice a small piece of rolled up parchment that's on the ground right by your foot.
Ooh. I will take it.
Okay. You pick up the parchment.
What's it say?
You open it up and read the interior. All it says within it is, what does it say within it? It's a good question. Where did my mouse go?
The music.
It says, Matu, I gave you the pearl. You owe me an army. And then all that's left, I gave you the pearl. You owe me an army. The time to collect is now. In the bottom right-hand corner looks to be some type of scaled insignia, almost branded into the paper itself.
Are you sharing that information with the group there, Ollie?
I will once I get down.
I have it written down.
I mean, does it look like we're in a temple, or is it just like a hollowed tree and just a altar with no?
Yeah,
relationship?
it's more or less a makeshift templed area. It doesn't look to be a formal temple in any way, shape, or form. Looks like it was just kind of impromptuly made.
Okay.
So when we were watching the ritual, was the altar glowing as well, if I remember?
The altar wasn't glowing. The pearl inside of the medallion was glowing, as well as the shaman's eyes.
Okay. I was going to say, what if we just destroy this altar so it can't be used again?
What kind of altar is it? Stone though? Like how are you gonna?
If it's a makeshift one, they'll probably rebuild anything. I don't know.
Yeah, it's basically made up of 3 stones, 2 that are acting as legs, and then a large slab that's just kind of been thrown on top.
So it's nothing special.
The pearl does all the thing. I don't know why they do it here. Might be something within the location, but
Is there anything left of the creature?
There's bits and pieces of the creature left.
Can I just bend down and just like poke it?
All right. Go ahead and make an investigation check for me, please.
13.
13. You kind of dig through it a little bit. Pretty gross. You get a lot of goopy stuff on your hands. It doesn't seem to have the same acidic value as it did while it was alive. Rummaging through, there's bits of pieces of a chunk of hair from a skull or from a scalp, a little bit of a jawbone that you seem to be able to pull out from it. But you do come across a bit of a pouch that seems to somehow still be intact.
I'll take the pouch. What's in it?
Okay, reaching in, you find 3 gold coins.
Ooh.
Just tripled your
All right.
income.
Stick those in my pocket.
All right, I get down from the altar, and I share what I found on the note. Matu, I gave you a pearl. You owe me an army with a scale insignia.
Maybe this is. Didn't Thomas mention a leader of the pirates, a woman?
But why a scale insignia?
Yeah, Barbosa lady or
Yeah,
whatever.
Talia Barbosa, Death's maiden.
No, he's trying to make like fish people or something, it seems. Did they turn into a sea creature?
Yeah,
So the
that's.
Trying to
birds must be
control the
coming from the
waterway.
sea. Yeah, I guess so.
I think they're working together, Matu and Barbosa.
Well, if we go back down the road quick enough, we could probably catch up to the ones who just left here.
Do we want to do that? Do we want to go find Rainer?
I mean, he is on his own.
Yeah.
How?
Sorry, Laura?
Didn't you say we were supposed to go back somewhere and after if we survived?
He said if I don't make it back.
Oh.
So are we supposed to wait for him here?
I
don't know if
I don't know. I don't hate the idea of seeing if we can find him.
Yeah, let's go make sure he's okay. No, I don't like him.
Are you worried about him?
Way, I guess.
What did he tell us last time? Low and slow. Okay.
Yeah. All right, let's go look for him.
Okay.
Okay, you leave the entrance. What direction do you want to go in?
The last direction that we saw him going, yeah.
You saw him disappear behind the tree.
Can we look for tracks?
Yeah.
Wait, was the wagon that was being pulled, is that still here, or did that leave with
The wagon is still there.
Oh,
Well, maybe he was smart enough to leave a trail or something for us to follow him. Look
Don't
around.
you think he'll just head back to camp if he's okay?
But what if he's in trouble?
He
I'll
doesn't
look
have his
around.
bow.
I'll see if I can find some tracks.
this
Okay.
hasn't been that long.
Is anyone helping Eli look for tracks?
Yeah, me.
Okay. Eli, go ahead and make a survival check with advantage.
Okay, so I think that gets re-rolled anyway.
You do that a lot.
Yeah, I'm rolling a lot of ones.
It's too often.
Yeah, I'm rolling a ton of ones. It's crazy. So I have an advantage. So that's a natural 20.
A natural 20?
Yes.
Okay.
So 22.
You do find a set of tracks that seems to lead further north from where you're headed right now. You continue to follow these tracks for probably about 20 minutes before you find yourself face to face with a bit of a marsh. The marsh seems to have a little bit too much water as the tide has now come in a little bit, blurring where the tracks go. They seem to stop there.
Shit. Okay.
Don't you want to go up and look if there's any structure around? Without being seen, just go around the perimeter, not too far. Do we see anything through the marshes, like a dry land somewhere, or is it just plain water?
You can see water and reeds that stick out from the marsh itself.
Okay.
Perhaps we should just go back to town and see if anyone there knows the insignia.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because I could scout ahead, but that won't do any good if you guys can't follow. Or
Yeah. Okay.
so let's just use the map to head back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, utilizing the map, you travel for roughly an hour and a half, making your way back to the town. At this point, it's probably just past midday. The sun is shining brightly once again as you exit the cave, making your way out onto the beach. There seems to be a little bit of commotion happening close to the large hut where Shepherd dwells. You begin to make your way to the front entrance. When you walk in, Shepherd is standing there once again, but there is now a woman with him as well. They seem to be having a little bit of an argument between themselves. The woman that you see, she's a little bit shorter than he is. She's got a dark caramel-like complexion, very fit and agile, looks to be in very much a fighting condition. She's very attractive, albeit she has a small scar across her cheek right below her right eye. She's wearing a linen tunic with a dark chocolate brown cloak draped over one shoulder. She wears a leather armor corset around her mid-waist that covers her vital organs, matching the leather gauntlets that are on her covers her forearms. A thin, loose belt hangs off one side of her hip that holsters a rapier sword. She seems to also be wearing a dark forest green pair of leggings with worn leather boots that come up to her mid-calf. She has what looks to be a homemade longbow and quiver over top of her shoulders. As the two argue back and forth, Shepherd kind of looks up and takes notice and says, it seems you are all just in time. We may need your assistance once again. I'd like to introduce you to Sky Austin. She is our resident general here. She looks after all of our scouting. She kind of looks back at you and says, Shepherd, I understand, but we don't have time for this right now. We can get information, and we can get it now, but we have to do it my way. Shepherd looks back and says, you know I can't agree with that. You've already done enough harm to the new prisoner. We must find another way to get our information. Shepherd then looks back to you and says, do you bring any news?
Yep. Have you guys seen Rainer? Has he been back here, maybe?
I haven't seen Rainer since this morning, and Sky just returned just a few hours ago.
Okay.
Mm.
Does anybody
There's
else
been a
want
bit
to
of
tell
a
the story?
development. We've encountered a bit of a ritualistic sacrifice. Body dismemberment. People turning other people into fish people.
Acidic fish people.
Acidic fish people.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was intended though, but yes, that's what happened.
Shepherd kind of puts his hand in his head and says, This day is not going to end.
Do
This
you
is just-
guys know anybody named Matu? Matu?
Matu?
Matu.
He looks to Sky. Do you have any intel on a Matu? She looks back and says, well, yes, there's the sea shaman I've been telling you about, but you haven't believed a word that I said, thinking that it was only pirates that are involved. If this Matu has now been seen, we clearly have a connection between them and the cult.
I'm going to present them the note I got.
He takes the note and unravels it and says, There's much to think about in all of this. You've proven yourselves beyond resourceful, and once again, I owe you my thanks. We all owe you our thanks. I don't know how we can repay you, but your actions here today prove your loyalty. We seem to be having another problem. Perhaps you can assist Sky with our most recent issue that we've run into. Sky, if this does not prove that they are resourceful, to say the least, perhaps they can assist you as well. Sky looks back and says, well, if you believe that they are capable, I will take them. If you'll all follow me. She begins to motion her way outside of the longhouse.
Okay.
Before I follow her, can I look at Shepard and say, "Hey, good news is we got the glue." And
That's for
He
the
doesn't know
other
about
guy.
the glue.
Yes.
oh, I thought she.
Not him.
Well, I'm glad that you were successful on your quests. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have much to think about at this point.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
So, are we leaving the cove now or no?
I think just a 10.
Yeah, you guys leave the longhouse and begin following behind Sky. Sky begins to explain. We were lucky enough to capture one of the pirates. We might be able to get some more information out of him. We've tried our best in intimidating him, maybe getting a little too physical to get some information out of him, but he refuses to say that he's part of this overall gang, says he has nothing to do with it. But when I see a pirate, you can clearly see a pirate. We've been trying to get more information out of him. Perhaps you all might have a better chance. She leads you over to the cliffside, where you can see now there seems to be a bit of an indentation in the cliff wall itself now, with large bamboo bars that seem to bar off the interior of this strange little alcove. Walking up, you take notice to a man who, very similar to the pirate garb, seems to be wearing shortened pants that are slightly ripped off from the side, very badly bruised and beaten, as there seems to be blood all over him in various places. There's a fair amount of dirt that covers him as well. His head bowed low as he seems chained to the back wall. As you approach, Sky looks to you and says, well, if you think that you can try and find a way to get some information out of this man, I wish you the best of luck. You seem to be more than capable of gathering resources and intel. As you approach the cage itself, you take notice of the slightly ajarred red bandana that covers the individual's head, as you see now blood caked in his large gray mutton chops. Lifting his head up, he sees you and says, well, Mr. Alcor, I bet you did see this in the stars.
Oh.
And that's where we'll pick up next week.
Oh.
So what's his name? Smeltsy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you see it in the stars? That's the question.
Let's see.
I don't foretell me. I don't do that. I map it.
First name Smeltsy. So he was a pirate the whole time? We were on like a pirate ship? Like an undercover pirate ship?
He keeps saying that he has nothing to do with it. He's probably wrong place, wrong time.
Maybe he went undercover as a pirate.
Okay.
He's a Fed.
Well, suffice to say,
All right.
we will, I'm sure we will find out in much more detail when we pick up next week, next Tuesday, at the same Twitch time, same Twitch channel, as we continue our strange but curious tale of our adventurers and their journey
to Qatar. I'd like to thank once again everyone for watching. And hey, just remember out there, adventurers, gotta be careful. You can trip. We'll see y'all next week. Take care.